Well, hi class, welcome to Unit 6 of Romans and Galatians. Once again, it's snowing in Atlanta, so pardon me, I don't have the professional setting behind me. Once again, stuck here at the house, waiting on the weather to pass. But a great thing about the online format is that we don't have to go to a classroom, so we won't miss a beat at all. Really appreciate the hard work that you've done thus far. I realize this is a senior level class. It is very, very rigorous, and some of you are sucking a little bit of wind, but you're pushing forward, and I really respect that, and trust me, I'm very sympathetic to the workload of this class. I do honestly believe that if you stick with it and do the work, you are going to benefit personally and spiritually from such an in-depth study of Romans and Galatians. I told one of our students, Michael Only, on the phone this week that this is an 8-week drive-by shooting of probably the most influential documents in the history of Western civilization. So I know we're biting off this massive chunk of data and significance, and trying to digest it in 8 weeks is really, really tough. Press on, press on, press on. It really is worth it. Well, let's talk about Unit 5. I have finished grading your posts and also your research paper synopsis or synthesis for Unit 5. And as I've graded those, let me alert you to a few patterns that allow me to offer a few suggestions about the final paper. So pay attention and let me walk through these. First, for the final paper, I'd like you to use 4 or 5 sources. And feel free, some of those 4 or 5 sources should be the textbooks. They should be some of the articles by Costner and Wright that we've looked at if they fit into your work. A Bible is not a research source, and I would encourage you to use the ATLA database that you have access to through the Lee University Library. This will allow you to simply input your passage, Romans 8, Galatians 5, what have you, and a litany of articles will come up, many of which are available for free download in PDF format. These come from academic journals. They're really, really excellent sources. So make sure you have 4 or 5 sources in your research paper. Secondly, make sure you cite those sources in proper APA format throughout the body of your paper. This means last name of the author and page number. If I only have a bibliography, I can't tell where you're pulling various points of information in your paper, so it's important to cite those sources. Please do not quote blocks of the biblical passage or anything in the Bible in your paper. I know the temptation is to do that to fill space. Please don't. I have a Bible, and just put chapter, verse, and I'll be able to look that up myself. And lastly, this may seem a little bit obvious, but I catch this pretty frequently. Please do not plagiarize. If you're quoting from another source, that's okay. Don't overdo it, but it's okay to use quoted material. But you have to use quotation marks and cite where you got that material. Otherwise, it's plagiarism. And I'm not trying to be condescending to anybody, but do just want you to be aware that last term at the seminary level, I assigned 3 failing grades for students who had plagiarized their final paper. So I get that the temptation is there. The internet makes it easy. Copying and pasting stuff from the internet is just absolutely off limits. It's against university policy, and I really would hate to see somebody take an F over that infraction. So if you have any questions about where those lines are for quoting material, please, please, please don't hesitate to ask so that we can make sure you don't cross that line. Unit 6, we're going to be looking this week in our discussion post at Romans 7, one of the most tense and fascinating passages, I think, in the New Testament, in which Paul describes his struggle, somebody's struggle, Israel's struggle, the Christian struggle with the sinful nature. And it's unclear who Paul is referring to, and that's what we're going to be debating in our post together. Is he referring to himself? Is he referring to Israel? Is he referring to the church? Is he referring to unregenerate man? All these theories are up for grabs, which is why it's such an exciting time to be involved in Pauline studies in the New Testament. 2 more bits. Let me give you an extra day on your reflection paper. This is not a course that I personally wrote, and for some reason, the reflection paper of Unit 6 is due the same time as the research project. That's a bit overkill. So if you need an extra day to do that reflection paper after you knock out the research paper, please do take that. And last, many of you have asked me about the homily. Don't overthink this. In the homily, you're simply reformatting your research paper for a verbal presentation. So you're not doing a bunch of extra research. You're just kind of taking what you've written and rewriting it so that it works for a sermon or even for a Sunday school class. Look forward to your great work this week. Let me know how I can serve you. God bless.